Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of the end times. On this program, I want to talk about the 4 barriers to the Antichrist. In my last video, I gave you the date for Armageddon, which will be in October-November of the year 2017. But before then, many other important events must occur, including the public appearance of the Antichrist. And before the Antichrist can appear, 4 great barriers must be removed. Now in Thessalonians, St. Paul describes the barriers which are holding back the public appearance of the Antichrist. In 2 Thessalonians, St. Paul writes, "And now you know what withholds that he," that is the Antichrist, "might be revealed in his time." Now his time is the time we are living in today, that is the end times. And notice St. Paul says, what withholds him? In other words, this is not a person which St. Paul is talking about. And in the next verse, St. Paul writes, "For the mystery of iniquity already works. Only he who now holds will hold until he be taken away." Now St. Paul is talking about an individual who is holding back the Antichrist. And the mystery of iniquity not only refers to the Antichrist, but the evil system associated with the Antichrist. Actually, there are 4 great barriers to the Antichrist. And in the book of Revelation, St. John is much more specific as to their nature and how they will be removed. Now, the first great barrier to the Antichrist is the United States. And St. John writes, "And they," that is the merchants of the world, "cast dust on their heads and cried, Woe, woe, that great city, which is Babylon/America, wherein all were made rich who had ships at sea," an obvious reference to capitalism, "by reason of her prices, for in 1 hour she is made desolate." It's hard to think of this destruction of America as anything other than a nuclear war, because in 1 hour she is made desolate. So part of the what, which St. Paul refers to, is the United States of America. That's why the one-worlders are so desperate to destroy our own national sovereignty. They know that their time is short. But there is another part of this equation which they also must destroy, and which they will destroy, and that is the Roman Catholic Church. St. John describes this destruction of the Roman Catholic Church in chapter number 11. "And the angel stood, saying, Arise and measure the temple of God." Now this temple is not a Jewish temple, as a lot of the false prophets out there claim, but the court without, that is the exterior functions of the Catholic Church, measure it not, for it is given to the Gentiles. In other words, all of the hospitals, all the schools, all of the convents, monasteries, all the seminaries, all the orphanages, all of the external facets of the Catholic Church will be taken over by the one world government. And the holy city, now the holy city here is not Jerusalem, the holy city is Rome. They shall tread underfoot for 42 months. These 42 months refer to the first half of the tribulation. Following World War III, all nations of the world will support the one-world tyranny, including Russia, England, and America, which will have destroyed each other in World War III. When I say destroy, I don't mean completely destroy, but as Daniel says, their power will be taken away. At this same time, the Catholic Church will also be taken over by the one-world government, and will head up the one-world religion. Following the destruction of these 2 great forces in our society, then God will send his last hope to mankind, and that is the 2 prophets, Enoch and Elijah. They will preach repentance to mankind, both Jews and Gentiles, for 3½ years. But ultimately, they also will be assassinated, thus eliminating the last of the four great barriers to the Antichrist. And when they, that is Enoch and Elijah, shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them, and kill them. Notice it is the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit that assassinates Enoch and Elijah. It is not the Antichrist, as the false prophets will tell you. The Antichrist is the beast that comes up out of the sea. The beast which comes up out of the sea, in other words, the Antichrist, cannot make his public appearance until all four barriers have been removed, including Enoch and Elijah. So what will happen to these four barriers to the Antichrist? That is what will happen. Once the four barriers are removed, St. John describes the Antichrist. And I saw a beast come up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads names of blasphemy. The 10 heads with crowns symbolize the 10 greatest nations of the world, including England, Russia, and the United States. The crowns indicate their national authority. And even now, the New World Order is trying to divide the planet into 10 different regions. The 7 heads with names of blasphemy refer to the 7 world's greatest religions, headed up by the false prophet, who will undoubtedly be a high-ranking official of the Catholic Church, possibly even Pope Benedict, who will apostatize from his faith and support the one-world communist tyranny. Of course, you need to realize that we can mitigate these disasters, but we cannot prevent them. They are a part of Bible prophecy. And remember, as I have been saying all along, God does not reveal the future to us in order to scare us, but to prepare us. And if you would like more information, simply write to the address you see on your screen.